Sam Logue here for irishboxing.com. Delighted to be joined by Caoimhin Agyarko, Black Thunder himself. Caoimhin, how's it going, pal?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. All good. Just back in Belfast at the moment. Yeah, I'm all good, thanks.
Good stuff. You're back at home for a while, obviously. Obviously you've had a bit of news lately, haven't you? You've changed trainers. You've gone from living in London and training with Al and Eddie Lamb in the iBox gym up to Joe McNally in Liverpool. That's an interesting change, and I think there's no better place to start than just kind of getting straight into that. I was kind of slightly surprised personally when I saw that news. Just talk us through the change and kind of what made it come about.
Yeah, do you know what? It was just one of them things. I think for the last while, I was unhappy in London. I was unhappy in the gym, and the coaches could tell, and yeah, just it wasn't anything bad on their behalf. But I did feel like I needed more one-to-one attention. I'm at a certain stage in my career where I need to be improving. I'm climbing the rankings very quickly. Do you know what I mean? I'm ranked 10th and 11th in the world at 2 weights. Do you know what I mean? So, I'd realised that I felt like I'd stopped improving. I wasn't happy, and I needed more one-to-one attention. And you only get one career, so I had to do what was best for me and make a change.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, if there's any reason for a change, then that sounds like a good one. Maybe we'll dive a little deeper into it at some point. But talk to me about why you chose Joe McNally. He probably wouldn't have been the first person on many people's lips, but obviously an exceptionally good trainer in his own right. Liam Smith is up there. Talk me through the decision and kind of the process of going to him.
Yeah, so I said to my manager after the Matic fight that, listen, I haven't been happy, and I want to make a change. No one knew about it leading up to the fight. I think I made the decision 5-6 weeks until fight or before the fight. It was very hard mentally for me to get through a camp, knowing that, and kind of having that in the back of my mind. I couldn't sleep and stuff like that. But anyway, I just told him, and he suggested a couple of trainers. I was thinking of going out to America. I was thinking of staying here. I didn't know what was next, and he had suggested Joe. I had a chat with Joe on the phone. Listen, I've seen Joe's work a bit closely because obviously I've been keeping an eye on JJ Metcalf and being a fan of Liam Smith. I've watched Joe in the pads and just seen snips of him in press conferences and stuff like that. And whenever I had a chat with him, we got on very well. And I've heard great things about Joe. So I said, I asked him if I could come over and try things out. And yeah, I went over and had a very good 2 weeks training with him, and we clicked instantly. I think our styles gel well together. I think he's going to make me a very good fighter going forward. And I've been looking for somebody, but I've wanted somebody that's going to be adding them 1% to my game. He's not trying to change anything. He's just trying to improve on the things that I'm doing wrong, whether it's my distance control, whether it's my hand positioning, attacking without loading up and stuff like that. So a very good 2 weeks training, and we clicked, and I just felt like I didn't really need to go and train anywhere else. I felt like Joe was the guy for me, and like I said, I've watched him very closely, and I feel he's improved Liam Smith and JJ Metcalf, especially in that garage fight. I think he made a lot of adjustments and improvements, and to be able to improve two fighters that are kind of on the back end of their career, whenever maybe you'd be stuck in your ways, it just shows that he is a quality coach.
Yeah. Was part of the attraction, well, this is kind of twofold question, but is part of the attraction to go to Joe the fact that he has like really high level light middleweight sparring there, like the likes of Liam and JJ? And then I suppose the other thing was the fact that he doesn't have as many fighters a big thing for you? It seems like it probably was with Al and Eddie. I know they seem to be quality coaches, but there's obviously a lot of fighters in that gym in London, which seems to be one was one of your issues, like not getting the attention or whatever?
Yeah, I don't think the reason that JJ and Liam were in the gym was kind of made me make my decision, but it was a bonus in the end. Do you know what I mean? Two fighters that I can learn a lot of, two fighters that I can get advice of and share the ring with and stuff like that. So yeah, it was definitely a bonus. But the fact that Joe doesn't have a lot of fighters, I think there was 5 or 6 of us in the gym. It's massive. It's a massive gym. That was a big or kind of reason into why I chose Joe as well, because like you say, the iBox gym, it's a small gym and it's got 12, 13 pros in it. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that was one of the decisions.
Yeah, no, it would seem like it was. What, just to go back slightly, what do you think? What does it come down to for you that, you know, maybe you weren't getting the attention that you needed in the iBox gym? Because it would have seemed like you were one of the kind of rising stars coming out of that gym, you know, especially being signed with Eddie and kind of getting that kind of matchroom hype train pushing you then over the last year or so, or, you know, good to be here. You know, it would have seemed like they would have been kind of behind you and pushing you. And sorry if I'm digging a little bit too deep here, but it just seems an interesting one to me that you wouldn't have been getting the attention that you needed, considering your ability, considering, you know, everything around you.
Listen, it's one of them things. I feel like I said, it's a very, very busy gym, very small gym. And yeah, just like Al has other priorities. He's got a very successful business, and it was hard for him to kind of commit to certain times in the gym that suited me. And yeah, do you know what? It was just one of them things. Like, Al and Ed's unbelievable coaches, and we left on good terms, and I have a lot of respect for both of them. And they done a lot for me to get me to this stage in my career. But yeah, I just felt like I wasn't getting the attention that I needed. I needed that one-to-one attention. I needed to be improving. And yeah, I just felt like I needed to change.
Talk to me about your last fight. It was a good outing, but were you fully satisfied with it? And it sounds like you obviously did have a few. Mentally, it was maybe a little bit difficult in the lead up, knowing that you kind of felt like you needed a change. Talk to me through that process of kind of preparing for and having your last fight.
Happy but not satisfied. I'm never ever satisfied. I can be happy with my performances. I can be happy with picking up another title, considering the circumstances. That last fight, nobody knows, it was very mentally tough for me. Very, very mentally tough. Fight week, I had 10 hours sleep the whole week. And that was down to because of the decision that I had to make, knowing that was going to be my last fight, knowing that I had to go down the day after the fight and sit down and have a chat with all 3 coaches and tell them that I was going to be leaving, and not knowing what way it was going to go in terms of whether it was going to end sore or not, because I didn't want it to. So yeah, leading up to the fight, 4 weeks left of camp, I couldn't sleep. Because it was on my mind every single night, and I couldn't voice that to anybody because I didn't want to get out just before my fight. You know the way the boxing world is. People like to talk a lot, and I didn't want to get out. I have a lot of respect for the coaches, so I wasn't going to go up to them and be like, "This is my last fight with you."
Yeah,
do you know what I'm saying? So, when I in the ring after the fight, I wasn't happy. I wanted the stoppage, and I felt like I could have stopped my cheeks. I heard him with a body shot in the 4th round. I heard him with a right hand left hook in the 5th round, and I just didn't go through the gears. And whether it was what was going on behind the scenes played a part in that, or whether it was because it was my first time at light middle and I didn't want to go through the gears and then gas late. And then even though I was fit, but I was at a new weight, I hadn't been at this weight since the amateurs. So I didn't put the foot on the gas and go through the gears because I was worried about maybe gassing late. And yeah, when I look back and watch the fight, I took a couple silly right hands, but I was happy with my performance. I was proud of my performance because of what was going on behind the scenes. I stayed professional. I got the job done, and I didn't let what was going on behind the scenes affect the overall performance. The motive was to get the win, and I'd done that, and I'd done it with ease in first gear. I've done it. I took a couple right hands. 2 judges give me every round, and I think 1 judge gave a round or 2 against me. For me, I cruised the fight, and that was me at 50%, 40%. So yeah, listen, it was a good performance against someone who is a dangerous opponent. His record actually doesn't say that he hits hard, but he actually does hit hard enough. But yeah, it was a good one for me, and a good step up learning fight for me.
Well, that's it. He had boxed Fowler quite recently, hadn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think anyone who's played sport at any kind of level will know how hard it is if you are sleep deprived. And you've things on your mind, how hard it is to focus and get the job done, you know.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like, from the Monday to the Friday, I had 10 hours sleep, and I'm trying to diet and trying to make weight and trying to train. I've got to do a lot of media work for my team. I've got to do public workouts. Do you know what I mean? And you're trying to keep it all together. Trying to stay focused. Now in the background, you've got a lot of shit going on. Do you know what I mean? And people don't see that. People are very quick to judge your performances, judge whatever it may be, and they don't see what goes on behind closed doors or what problems you're facing in your own personal life. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's it. People they don't see the full picture. They only see what's put out there. Exactly. So it's difficult. I do want to talk about light middle though, because we the last time we spoke, you were adamant that you weren't going to light middleweight, for some specific reasons, like, you know, you could get there, but there's no way you'd be fighting for a world title at light middle, because by the time you got to that stage in your career, you wouldn't be able to make that weight anymore. That's what you said to me. So I'm interested now in what has changed since, who influenced you to make this decision to go to 154? What made you believe that it's doable, that your body can do it, etc., etc.? So talk me through that move.
Yeah, Eddie Hearn came into the change room after my fight in Nottingham, and he'd said to me, why don't we try and make light middleweight? We can come in at 157 for the next one. I've seen how kind of easy you've made middleweight, being in the last 2 fight weeks, and I says, yeah, I like a challenge. I said, why not? I knew how easy I was making light middle. I says, how easy I was making middle. And it says, yeah, I'll do it, but I don't want to come in at 157. I says it has to be championship weight. I'm not half-assed doing something, do you know what I mean? I'd say we're all in or all out. And thankfully he was able to get me a title, so that kind of motivated me that bit more to push on and make the weight professionally. I employed a new nutritionist that run the numbers, Paul O'Neill, and yeah, we run the numbers at the start of camp, and they come back saying that yeah, I could make the weight, and as long as I did it right. And I'm a true professional whenever I'm in camp. I diet and I train hard, and I just followed what was given to me, and yeah, I made the weight, and I felt like it was comfortably. I made it comfortably, but I think one of the reasons why as well, as you said, that I didn't think I would get an opportunity to fight for world title at light middle, because I would have to climb the rankings, and how long would it take me doing that, and could I hold the weight? But Eddie got me a title. I'm now ranked with a WBA number 11, I think. Charlo has all the belts, and I feel like he'll vacate and they'll scatter, and they'll become, about after 2-3 more fights, I could be in a position to fight for world title. Defend my WBA title one more time. I want to fight for a European title come mid next year, and yeah, after that I feel like I'll be in a position to fight for world title. So and this is probably my weight, do you know what I mean? I mean, I was putting off making light middle from the start of my career because I used to struggle to make welterweight in the amateurs, but in the amateurs it's a lot different. There's a kilo difference, I think, or 0.9 or something. There's 0.9 difference. I'm a professional. I diet a lot better than I did in the amateurs. I train a lot harder than I did in the amateurs, and you haven't got everyday weigh-in. You've got 36 hours to refuel, rehydrate. So yeah, I think this is my way for now, and I'll be staying at light middleweight.
Brilliant. Are you targeting anyone in particular? I mean, you're kind of talking there about the world titles and perhaps in 3 or 4 fights. You always right smile when I mention other people. But it is interesting because you're not going to go like a British title route, which, with a British promoter would be like a big fight, right? But you're not going to go that route unless any changes have been made. But
no.
Yeah, so what kind of, in order to have the step up fights, in my opinion, you have to then fight some good names. And from a commercial point of view, that might be what Eddie and Matchroom would want as well, it's kind of marketable fights. So has there been talk of any kind of British names or any kind of big names around that European level, and who are you targeting? Who do you kind of want in your route to the world title?
Whoever's there. Everyone keeps on saying I need to start calling people out, and it's just not my game. I don't look at the division and say I want him next or I want him next. Whoever's put in front of me, I'm ready to fight. We get offered names, I accept, they decline. That's just the way it happens. People talk about your Sam Egginton's, Troy Williamson, Josh Kelly's. You've got a Bass Baru, who I've shot a lot of rounds with. When it makes sense, I'll fight them all.
Yeah.
But people got to remember I'm 25 years old. I'm 12-0. As rankings can say what they want. People can say what they want about me, how good I am, or if they don't believe I'm good, whatever. But I won't be rushed. I'm in my own lane. I'm on my own journey, and I won't let anyone rush that. I'm ready for them big fights. I feel like after maybe one more fight at this level that I'm at now, I'll be ready for them fights. But what you got to remember, like I said, I'm 25, 12-0, yeah. Once you're at that level, there isn't any going back. So if I'm at that level right now, say I'm at European level or world level now, once I take that fight and if I win that fight, there is no going back. You're then taking every fight from there is a top level elite fight. And am I ready for that in terms of experience right now? Probably not. Technically, I feel like I'm good enough. Experience-wise, I think I need another 1 or 2 hard fights at this level. No one's troubled me in the pro game. As much as, I mean, my last 3 fights, 19-0, 14-0, and 28-4, they're good step-up learning fights for me. People that are meant to come and fight, but none of them actually have, because once I hit them, they curl up and go on a ball. But I feel like once we get that right fight for me, where someone's coming to actually give it a go, that's when you see the best Caoimhin Agyarko, and I feel like that's when everyone will stand up and give me my praise. But in terms of names, I'm not going to sit here and call names out. It's a very stacked division with a lot of talent. I'm not a domestic fighter, but Spike Sullivan, Jason Quigley, Luke Keeler. Do you know what I mean? If any of them can make light middle and they want a domestic dust up, I'd entertain any of them fights more than I'd entertain your Troy Williamsons, or because they mean nothing to me, unless it's for a European title or going to put me in a very good position to fight for a world title.
Yeah.
But I mean, we had Jimmy. I think it was Jimmy Kelly presented to us, and then he went and took the Munguia fight, a fight that we accepted. You have
that was a good fight. Jimmy Kelly. That would have been a tidy fight. He's good. Yeah,
do you know what I mean? But he went and moved up 2 weights and fought Munguia. We accepted the Hassan Nadam fight. He outpriced himself. Do you know what I mean? Everyone says, when am I going to step up and when am I going to take these real meaningful fights? Even though I feel like 25 and 12-0, I don't need to take these fights. I still accept them, and it's down to them whether they take them or not, and they haven't. So there's not much I can do. There's not much I can do. I'm on my own journey, and like I said, I won't be rushed. I won't be thrown into the deep end too soon, and I'll not go and call. Everyone keeps saying you need to go and call fighters out, and you need to make it exciting. That's not me. I've got a lot of respect in this game. If I call someone out, I'll do it respectfully. I'll never do it. I'll never disrespect another fighter unless they disrespect me. But yeah, I'll let them call me out. I'll respond. But that's the thing. That's the thing. You get all these fighters, Troy Williamson calling out Josh Kelly and calling out Sam Eglinton and whatever else. You get all these fighters calling each other out, but no one calls me out. Do you know what I mean? No one's mentioning my name. You can't say it's because I've got nothing to offer, because I have a WBA international title at 2 weights. I've got a world ranking with the WBA. So, do you know what I mean? Everyone speaking on each other's names other than mine.
I would imagine you're still seen as too much risk for the reward at the moment.
Do you know what? I would have to disagree, because I'm with the best promoter in the game. Someone who can put the shows on, who can offer the money. I've got a title. Do you know what I'm saying? You beat me. You've beat a very, very good prospect, and you're in good stead. Then you've. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know why it is.
Yeah, well, I'd say another few fights when you kind of get a little bit further up into the mix. All of a sudden you'll be kind of within that kind of group of people that's calling them out. But I think that's the same, isn't it? Like anyone who's ever very dangerous and young, and full of energy and on the come up, they don't get called out because they're just too. People don't want to lose, and when they see it as just too much of a risk, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you know, they want fights that they can maybe win. Like, it's easy for someone to call Sam Eglinton out, because although he's class and he's good to watch, they know loads of things. They know like it'll probably be a good fight. They'll get paid well for it. He's well known. He's very beatable. You know what I mean? Like, even though he's very good. You know what I mean? So there's all these factors with guys like him, or they might call Liam Smith out because he's towards the end and they see a couple of chinks or whatever it may be. You know what I mean? So I suppose it varies, doesn't it? But I'm interested in the Spike fight because he wants to make light middle. Like, Pascal Collins has been talking exclusively about Spike fighting at light middle, and the only reason they fought Lara was because it was for a world title at middleweight. They've been adamant in the past that, well, Packy's been adamant in the past that there's no need to take you on at this particular time. But do you see how Spike's career has gone, and kind of he had the Lara fight, he got beaten comprehensively a few months ago. Do you see like that now you and him is kind of, maybe it's a great time to have that fight based on kind of where he's at?
Why not? Where does Spike go from here? Who does Spike fight? When was the last time Spike won a fight? Do you know what I'm saying? When's the last time he won a meaningful fight? And I'm not being disrespectful towards Spike, because I like him and I appreciate his boxing style, and it'd be an honor to share the ring with him. But where does he go from here? What are his other options? How does he rebuild? Beat someone like me, who's an up and coming prospect, who a lot of people rate, or I've got the back end, I've got the world ranking. You kind of put yourself back in the mix at light middle. Do you know what I'm saying? You put yourself back in the mix, but who else is out there that you can fight? I don't think there is anyone. The reason I don't think that fight will happen is probably the reason that you've just said, with Pascal thinking do you know what, in this game that I've realised over the last while with me, it's who needs Caoimhin Agyarko? Do you know what I'm saying? Who needs me? A dangerous young fighter that, I have a WBA title, which I feel like is enough to offer, but doesn't really have anything to offer. Do you know what I mean? So it is kind of who needs Caoimhin Agyarko until I get them meaningful wins and really put myself in a position to fight for world titles. But also, I feel like it's a fight that will be outpriced. Listen, Eddie's not going to pay silly money to make that happen. And I feel like Spike's probably got good enough money to fight your Laras and Billy Joe Saunders and Chris EUBANK Jr.'s, do you know what I mean? He's probably got good money to fight them, and like your Lemieux, you know what I mean? Because they've been for like world titles and stuff like that. But that's why I don't think it will happen. I think they'll outprice themselves, whether they deserve it or not. there'll be too much money asked for.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. I'd love to see it. That's all I know. I think it'd be a
It'd
great.
be a great fight. Listen, I don't think it's an easy fight for me. Spike's dangerous. He can whack, and someone like Spike who is that dangerous, you've got to be switched on with. So it's not like it's an easy fight for me. Do you know what I mean? He's a lot more experienced than me. He's been in with the higher opposition and held his own in certain stages. So it's not an easy fight at all for me.
Yeah, definitely. Caoimhin, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. I just want to get your opinion very quickly on a couple of fights. One that's relevant to you, that's actually very relevant and interesting, is Sam Eggington is going to defend his IBO light middleweight title against Dennis Hogan, who of course is an Irish man. What do you make of the fight? You know, does it interest you? You against the winner? Is it something that you would push Eddie to go and chase, or talk to me about that
one? It's an exciting fight, very exciting fight. I mean, I expect fireworks in that fight. I look forward to watching it. It's a winnable fight for both men. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a fight that I'd be pushing. I would love the Sam Eggington fight, definitely. I think stylistically it suits me. But I wouldn't push it because of what's on the line, just because there's an IBO world here. Wouldn't be the route that I would want to go down. But yeah, it's a very exciting fight, and definitely a fight that I could potentially face the winner in the future.
Yeah, definitely. Who do you see winning that one? I think it's Dennis looked really good against Munguia when they fought, but that was a couple of years ago now, maybe 3 or 4 years ago now at this stage, can't even remember. But, you know, since he's gone up to middleweight, he's had a couple of losses. He fought Charlo, he fought Tim Sue, who was a big boy for middleweight as well. I mean, he hasn't maybe looked quite as good since, but against good opposition. So how do you Sam Eggington has had a kind of a different career. He's been up and down and all over the place. How do you see it going?
Do you know what? I haven't watched an awful lot of Dennis Hogan. I remember watching him against Charlo and Munguia and stuff, and I would probably favour Eglinton in that fight just because he's on a bit of a roll, and he's been in big fights himself. He's on a bit of a roll, and yeah, I'll probably favour Eglinton in that fight. But like you say, Eglinton, it depends what Eglinton turns up on the night. It's crazy because he's only like 28 or something. He's 27, 28. He's only a couple of years older than me, and he's been in so many fights, so many exciting fights. He's had a roller coaster career, but it's one of them ones that I feel like who turns up on the night wins that fight. Do you know what I mean? You expect both of the men to stand in the middle of the ring and punch the head of each other, and it's not going to be a technical fight, I don't think, but it's definitely going to be an exciting fight.
Yeah, it is going to be an exciting fight for sure. Another one that was on my mind. Well, I'll just pick your brain quickly on Joshua at the weekend against UZIK. I've seen a lot of mixed reviews on Joshua's performance and kind of, you know, he still was too reserved and he didn't do enough. But then I watched Paulie Malignaggi's review. Anyone who hasn't seen that, watch that on YouTube. And he's kind of just saying basically that he made very good adjustments. He did what he was able to do. But you can't just bum rush UZIK or you'll get knocked out. So he was trying to kind of work his way in, which he did a lot better in the first fight. But at the end of the day, it just wasn't good enough. I think that's probably the best way to look at it. But how did you see it, and how did you score it, actually?
I was out whenever I watched it, so I wasn't scoring the fight. I felt, just from watching it, UZIK won the fight. I felt like Joshua did make adjustments, and he had a lot in the tank left towards the end of the fight than he did compared to the other fight. But I don't see a way of AJ beating UZIK without bulldozing him and bringing that dog back in him, going out and sticking it on his chest and staying tight to him. Don't care about being hit. Don't care about getting knocked out. You have to, in a fight like that where it's a fighter against a boxer, you can't outbox the boxer. You can't wait on the boxer. You can't try and time the boxer. You have to go and stick it on his chest. With someone with the accolades of UZIK and is as good as he is and technically as good as he is, you can't wait for him. You can't try and outbox him in any way, shape or form. You can't play a chess match with him. You have to stick on his chest. You have to hurt him. You've got to be dirty. Hit him low. Hit him in the back of the head. Apologize to the ref. And then, do you know what I mean? You have to unsettle him, get him out of his rhythm. Once someone like UZIK gets in a rhythm, he's going to dance around you all night. So, yes, I feel like there was improvements and adjustments made, but it wasn't enough. Yeah. You had to have stuck it. That was the whole point of leaving his last coach and joining Robert Garcia, was to bring that kind of dog out of him again. And I mean, I didn't see that in him. In glimpses, I've seen it where he was going through the gears a bit, putting combinations together, but he had to do more of it from the first round to the last round.
I'm just not sure, and obviously, you know, your word is a lot more valuable than mine, but I'm just not sure how he gets to the chest. Like, how do you get into that close of a range with someone like UZIK, whose vision is amazing, and by vision I mean like he sees what's happening very fast. He adjusts very fast to what's happening. His footwork is exceptional.
You cut off the ring. You unsettle his rhythm. You use feints. Do you know what I mean? You make him anxious. As soon as you feint, you go. As soon as he goes to move, you follow him by cutting off the ring. There's ways. Listen, it's hard to do against someone like UZIK, but it's doable. I think in the what do you call him? He just got beat by Jai Opataya. The cruiserweight. He fought him at cruiserweight. Was it in the UZIK? He just fought
Bradis.
He just fought. Yeah, Bradis. Sorry.
Bradis.
Yeah. That was a very close fight. I think that was a majority or a split decision, and it was because he was able to get to UZIK by staying on his chest and making UZIK work when he didn't want to work. I feel like that's the approach that Josh had to take. Josh is a lot bigger. He's a heavyweight. He's a big target, so he is risking getting caught. But how else do you beat UZIK? Yeah. You're not outboxing him. So that game plan goes out the window straight away. That's out the window. So
yeah,
you have to have a firefight with him. You have to stick on him. You have to be dirty. You have to go to the body early and slow him down. And unfortunately, he didn't do that, and UZIK won.
Yeah.
But in terms of, I mean, the aftermath of it all, I understand that he's emotional. I feel like he let himself down. But in them situations, you have to have the right team around you. Joshua's got all this money and apparently got a great team around him and people who care for him and look after him and whatever else. I know if that was me, my manager would be the first one to take that mic off me, and he wouldn't care about me hitting him and smacking him out, because he knows the next day I would understand it was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It was an interesting one, wasn't it? The big rant, like
he's emotional and he's upset and his pride's been hurt, his ego's been hurt.
And he's just been hit quite a lot for 12 rounds as well. This is the other thing that people aren't talking about.
Could be concussed. Your team has to step in and save you there. Without doubt, especially at that level, your team has to step in and take the mic off you, and you can kick up a fuss and whatever else, but they've done the right thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a reasonable point to make. Like, I don't have much longer left here, Caoimhin, so I want to get your opinion very quickly on EUBANK Junior and BENN, which is a bit of a barn burner, which you never know. You could land on the undercard of that, could you?
That's not going to happen, though. Unfortunately, not.
That's such a shame, man. But just talk me very quickly through how you see that one going. Who does the advantage lie with?
I'm hearing all these kind of rehydration restrictions and stuff like that. So I don't know if there is major rehydration restrictions, then I'm going to favour Conor BENN. I think EUBANK hasn't looked great in his last couple of fights, and the style of Conor BENN could get to him. I would love to see Conor BENN win it. But it's a very interesting one. I don't know who to go with. It's a weird one. It's a tough one to call. I think you would probably favour, if you were a betting man, you'd be putting your money on EUBANK just because he's the bigger man. He's been in the bigger fights.
He's very good as well, which I think people are kind of, they underrate him massively. Like,
yeah,
he's very
good. Very, very good.
And even
good,
though
you know.
he hasn't looked that good at times in his last fights, he has also at the same time looked very good in those fights. He looks good for 4 rounds, and then he kind of takes a break for 6 rounds or whatever. But
so that'll be a key factor in this fight, because if Conor Benn's still in there after 4 rounds, you know for a fact he's not staying off your chest. He's there to the end. You know what I'm saying? So it's an interesting fight. I hope Conor Benn wins it. I got a lot of respect and like Conor Benn and like his style. And I praise him for taking a step up like this.
Yeah, definitely. It's an interesting fight, and and fair play to both of them for taking it, because it's not a necessary fight to take for either of them.
Exactly.
But look, Caoimhin, I'm going to leave it there. I've taken up, as I always do, far too much of your time. Thanks very much. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for talking to IrishBoxing.com.
Thanks very much for having me on.
No worries, mate. And I will chat to you very soon. Thanks very much.
Speak to you soon, mate. Take care.